raise your hand first and say, here, John, let's talk about this. And if nobody gives me anything to talk about, we're going to say goodbye, and that's going to be the call for today.
You don't want that to happen?
Just kidding.
Okay.
I've always got something to talk about, but you guys drive the conversation. So here's what this is. This is a mastermind conversation. And many years that I was attending Gary Keller's masterminds, he would start the conversation like this, and just envision a room full of real estate agents that are doing anywhere from $20 million in production to several $100 million in production. In other words, you got a lot of talent in the room, right? And he would start the conversation with that. And he would say, all right, leads, listings, and leverage. And then he would say, how are we doing? Talk to me. And the conversations would begin. So there you go. What would you like to talk about today, Clarissa?
So I finally took contacts from my phone and got them into Command. It's been a slow process going through them. DT, but still a slow process. Can you help me with an idea where I can mass reach out to instead of one by one? It's a slow process.
I'll give you one. And then anybody else who's listening, that's one of the ideas behind a mastermind is all of us are smarter than one of us. So somebody else that's in the room or on Zoom, if you have something you would like to add, please do. Host a weekly or bi-weekly or once a month. Did I say that right? Bi-weekly? Is that every other week?
It's every 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Or monthly Zoom call for your database. Pick a subject. Blast email it to everyone that is in your database and let them know that you're going to have a Zoom presentation on 2022 market predictions. What's the market going to do? What has the market done in the last 52 weeks? What are the experts predicting that it will do in the next 52 weeks? What's going on with interest rates? Are interest rates going to stay steady? Are they going to go up? How will that impact affordability? And should I sell my house? Now, you could also host the very same meeting in person in the office and provide food, appetizers, drinks, whatever you want to do around that. Make it an event. You could do a reverse bold 100. Promote a giveaway and ask people to reach out to you in order to register for whatever it is that you're giving away. Now, whatever it is, it has to be big for people to reach out to you. So what I've seen other real estate agents do is that bicycle,
Yeah, do you have one?
whatever it's called. Peloton. There it is. So if I spend $1,000, in other words, on a reverse bold 100, it's the same thing as marketing to a farm. Now I'm spending $1,000 to do direct mail. I'm looking for a 10-time return. In other words, if I get one sale because of this and my commission on that is $10,000, did I get a 10-time return? Say yes. Victoria Gordo, talk to us. please.
So I've been working in the Aventura office, and I was talking to Brooke, who is the DoFi here. And so we have something that the Waxman Group, Alan and Richard have leveraged to all three market centers, which is Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. And so in the jumbo postcards, they have recipe cards. So, we talk about doing events, we talk about 36 touch, and the recipe cards is something that you can you basically download it as a PDF. You can then export it as a JPEG. By touching your database through either Facebook on a once a month recipe card, you can do an event where you do a Facebook Live. You then let your database know to get the recipes. You can from your kitchen, or if you have a space where you can then do a live cooking show where you are engaging them. Let's do one of the recipes together. It's an event. It's something that you can engage them. Let's actually do the recipe. You can then talk about what is happening in the market. It's not real estate related. It's about gathering them together, talking, thanking them for being their clients. It's about having that event with them, engaging them. And I think that's something that is a touch. You're then touching them that they're looking forward to the next recipe. It's something that you can do. And then there's also the holiday cards that you're then touching them, because every month there's something going on with the holidays. And what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it's not always about real estate. They don't always want to hear the real estate information sometimes. And then you can follow up with other touches.
There we go. Victoria, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm guessing that Diane and Clarissa liked what you said because they just started having a mastermind amongst each other while you were talking. And that tells me they really like what you said. So thank you for adding that, right? Okay, guys. What do you want to talk about? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I'm John.
Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. Nice to meet you. Stephanie, would you like to come up and talk to a few thousand people on Zoom?
Sure.
I'm kidding. Oh, I like that. I like Stephanie. What else do you guys want to talk about? Leads, listings, leverage. Remember, I've got stuff to talk about, so you got to be quick. Jump in there if you want to. Brian, here's your chance. You didn't like puppy dogs and kitty cats, so tell me what you want to talk about. Goldfish. 1, 2, 3. All right, listings. Oh, Diane, I'm sorry.
Let's talk about listings. I love that.
Listings. So listings are down 28% year over year. That means there's fewer listings being taken.
Hey,
so
John,
far. Brian, talk to me.
Can we change something?
I would love that.
Okay. The reason I'm saying is because, as you guys know, I hired my first assistant. She started the 3rd of January. Yesterday, I sent her home. Hire slow, fire fast. So I would love if we can talk a little bit more about leverage. I don't think we speak about it enough. And I don't know. I think it would be beneficial to a lot of people.
Okay.
I second that if possible.
Okay, we'll get back to the listings, guys. Let me just give you one nugget on listings. Anybody that's been in their home for more than 7 years. So that would be 2015. Anybody who purchased their home in 2015 or prior to 2015 should sell their home. Now, is that 100% true? No, but it's a mindset that I want you to have, because I want you to look at the market and everybody who's in the market, everybody who owns a home. There's 83 million homeowners in the United States. And I wanted you to look at everybody who's been living in their home 7 years or longer. And I want you to start having conversations with them around, if you were to sell your home, where would you go? What does your dream home look like? Is this your dream home? Or if it's not, what does the next purchase look like? If you knew that you could get more money for your home today, than it's ever been worth, and it's worth more today than it will be a year from now, 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, would you sell? What does a price look like that would cause you to move? In other words, what's your make me move price? Give me a number and let's see if we can make it happen. I want you to start target marketing. Write that down, please. I want you to start target marketing anybody who's been in their home for more than 7 years. I also want you to do a search for absentee owners, people who own a home here, but they live somewhere else. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people who own real estate in South Florida, but they live in New York, they live in Boston, they live in Michigan, they live in another country, and they're using that home maybe a month a year. And they're thinking of selling. Here's one final thing, and then I'm going to move on to Brian's question. Everybody is always thinking about selling their home, even the people who bought it last week. They're always thinking, wonder what my home is worth. You guys have heard people say before, everything is for sale, right? Everything is for sale. If I get the right price, everything is for sale. I mean, I have a really good friend who says that all the time, right? And he means it about everything. We won't go too deep on that. All right. Yeah, somebody just got it. Don't just say his wife doesn't like it when he says that.
Hey, John, while you're writing that, I want to put that into reality, what you just said. I sold a townhouse to a buyer back in August of last year. And I had another realtor call me up 2 weeks ago and ask and present an offer to the new buyer. She said, I know you guys just bought, but I have a customer that really wants to live in this neighborhood. Would your person that just bought be interested in selling? And I said, I don't know, send me an offer. Would you believe that my buyer countered the offer? I mean, it didn't get accepted and she's not going to sell, but she actually thought about it and countered the offer, just like you said.
Love it. There you go. So I might know what I'm talking about. All right, Brian, there's 3 people you might want to think about hiring right now. One of them is a transaction coordinator. My guess is you already have one, so good. I'm also speaking to everybody who's a part of this coaching conversation, including everyone in the room.
Technically,
yes.
Technically, I also let her go.
Okay. There we go. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. So transaction coordinator, a listing manager, and a lead administrative assistant. All right, so the dotted lines mean I haven't hired them yet. I'm in the process of looking for those individuals, or have a transaction coordinator. Cool, got that in place. And I think it might be time to replace that person with a full-time administrative assistant who's going to become my transaction coordinator in addition to handling my 80%. Now, what I want to do with each of these roles, by the way, all of those positions can be filled by a virtual assistant in the short term. You can contact companies like Cyberbacker, and they have virtual assistants who are trained by Keller Williams Maps how to do these jobs. In other words, you could hire somebody today to load your listings that know our processes. They know our systems. They're ready to go. So you can hire a virtual assistant today for any of these roles. Now, Brian, what you want to do is you want to write a detailed missing persons report. It's called a missing persons report, in which you are describing what this person looks like that you are looking to hire. These are bullet points. Who are they behaviorally? What kind of experience do they have? Do they have real estate experience? Is that important? Is it not important? What does their DISC look like? Am I looking for someone who is a high SC? If I looked at the disc, it's called a tent. I'm looking for someone who has a low D, maybe the I is a little bit higher, it doesn't matter that much, but they're strong on their S and C. This I should be below the line. So the D and I are below the line, the S and C are above the line. That's what I'm looking for an administrative assistant on the DISC profile. Now, the other question that I would ask you, or the suggestion that I would give you, in addition to doing a very detailed missing persons report, and then now, Brian, I want you to jump in here and talk to me because we're going to have a high D coaching conversation, is how many people did you interview before you hired this person?
So I had 216 applicants. I had probably 50 conversations.
High D, how many people did you meet with face to face? How many people did you interview?
I think about 10.
Okay, not bad. How many steps? Different question. Did you follow the career visioning process and interviewing those 10 individuals?
To the T.
To the T.
Not on every single one, because some I didn't go through after the initial meeting, I would just say no.
How many got to the third step?
Just this one.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to give you a recommendation. Please write this down. I want you to get at least 3 people all the way to the checking references stage. It's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to be worth it. I want you to have 3 final candidates to choose from. If you start with 10 and you only stay in the process with 1, you've got time invested in the 1, yes or yes?
Yes.
Right? So 1 person said yes. Isn't that awesome? 2. Okay. So you're in conversation with 1 person. Now what happens is you're falling in love with that individual, and you're going to start making excuses for the gaps that are clearly right in front of you, that are telling you they may not be the right person. They may, but then again, they may not. And you'll start rationalizing why they're the right person, because you're falling in love with them, you like them, and besides, they're your only option. Now, if you stay in the process, Brian, with at least 3, all the way up to checking references, then chances are you're going to find a better candidate for the role. Now, the next question I would ask you is, when you did your job, when you did your references, how many levels deep did you go in checking references?
No, that is the only part of the entire process that we didn't do.
Bingo. There it is. And welcome to the club. That's what everybody else does.
No. But so just the entire process was with Lee and Sarah involved.
Yeah.
And it was very,
somebody else's fault.
Very intense.
Yeah.
And we decided that is not something applicable to this candidate.
Wait a minute. I don't understand that.
So she was working with
Wait, 1 minute. Let me talk. This person didn't apply to checking references. That wasn't applicable to them. I don't understand. What does that mean?
Basically, her previous employer was the mother, and the employer before that is someone that I knew that I did not want him to know that I was hiring his previous assistant.
All right, so here's how the reference check process goes, right from the KPA, okay? You ask them to fill out the form. It's in the KPA, and there's a place for them to sign that they understand how Keller Williams hires. and you're asking them to give you at least 3 references. I think it might be 4. Now, they're giving you references, but you're letting them know that you're going to go 2 and 3 deep. In other words, if I'm interviewing Brian for the job and Clarissa is one of his references, in speaking with Clarissa before the conversation ends, and guys, the KPA gives you the questions to ask the person when you're checking for references. This is the easy button, remember? Well, that was easy. Before I hang up with Clarissa, I'm going to ask her, Clarissa, who else do you know that I should speak to in reference to Brian? Now, Clarissa is going to give me a name of somebody you didn't give me, Brian. Now, I'm going to ask that person. Let's say it's Aaron. Aaron, who else do you know that I should speak to in reference to Brian? Aaron's going to give me somebody else. Now, I'm 3 deep. I'm eventually going to get to somebody you don't want me to talk to, who's going to tell me the truth. Because one of the questions is going to be, would you hire this person? And I'm going to hear no. Well, why not? Ask Alan Waxman how many people he spoke to before he hired me. Okay. I'm not going to exaggerate, guys. It was probably 100.
You opened the door and you told him to walk through.
So for those of you in Zoom who didn't hear Aaron Coddington, my resident smartass in the room, he said not enough. Love you too, Aaron. Okay, Brian, is this making sense?
Yeah, it's making sense. It's just annoying.
You don't like it?
No.
No, you wouldn't like it either if I took you outside and made you run sprints until you couldn't run anymore, but you would get stronger. You would get better. You wouldn't like it. In 12 years of playing football, I didn't like any of my coaches. I hated every single one of them, but they made me better. You're not supposed to like this, Lance.
My phone cut out, so I don't know if you already said this, but it's going back to the KPA. How do we get the KPA? And did you suggest do the KPA on every prospect? Before we get, I'm sorry, can you just touch on KPA?
Yeah. So Brian, I'll answer for you. Brian got over 100 resumes. Now, it might have been more than 200, I forget, but it was a lot. And he spoke to 50 people. It might have been more than 50. Again, I forget. And that's the process. And the ones that you like on the phone conversation, not that you like them, but you feel like this might be somebody that I want to meet with. All right. The ones that you feel you might want to meet with, you KPA every single one of them. Then you look at their KPA and you decide which ones you want to meet with from that. And I want you to meet with at least 10, and I want you to keep at least 3 or 4 of them engaged in the interview process all the way to checking references. I want you to have 3 candidates to choose from.
John. Ryan, would you be comfortable in sharing and why it didn't work out with this person?
Yeah, she couldn't follow exact direct written directions, and basically was getting to a point that she was telling me what she was going to do instead, even though I was saying that that's not going to be the case. And I couldn't trust the person to run any part of the business with that attitude. So I told her to go home yesterday, and today she didn't show up.
Hey, Brian, another question. Or not maybe a question, but a suggestion, career visioning. Have you
So I
taken?
went to career visioning.
Yeah, you did that? Okay. Did you do 30, 60, 90?
Yeah, this is the first 30.
All right.
I'm with Brian. I'm on my third assistant. Actually, I don't have any assistant right now. I've let go of my third one. I went through 3 last year. It does suck, Brian. We got to keep going. We can't quit. John, just to bounce back, when I did my KPA, I had to ask Robin to set it up for me. As far as the KPA goes, is there a way that I can just set it up myself? Do I really have to bother the admin?
You're not bothering anybody. You're not bothering anybody. That's their job. In Coral Springs, it's Justin. And anytime I want a KPA on somebody, I simply ask Justin to send a KPA link to the individual that I want the KPA for. And that is the process.
John. Sorry, are you done?
I guess so.
Thank you.
So back to Brian. So because I'm very different than Brian is, I've done a lot of hiring over a span of 35 years. And Brian, one more question. How long was this person with you? Since January 3rd?
Correct.
And it's January 20
this year.
Yeah. So in other words, this person was with you for 3 weeks.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, and let me ask you a question. What is this person on the DISC profile?
And basically an amiable and an expressive.
It's an I and a C. Okay. And you connected with this person.
Yeah, I actually came really out of my comfort zone, read the versatile selling 3 times again, exactly on the amiable and expressive. I was honestly like,
So the reason why I bring this up, and I'm sure you have to do what's best for your business. But here's the thing. Is it possible that this person was giving you a suggestion on how to do something because this person was trying to bring something new and
No.
fresh? No?
when you have an event and the person is telling you instead of the invitations, that's taking too long, I'm just gonna print stuff on a piece of paper. And you're saying that's not the image I want to represent to my client. And it's Thursday and she's just doing this one, or Wednesday, yeah, Thursday when she's just doing this and it was provided to her on a Monday. I don't want to hear like that I'm gonna have to sacrifice my image because she didn't want to do her job because on the weekend she decided to go party in North Carolina with her friends and came in on Monday extremely tired.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
One last question, and then I'm going to go to Kim. This is working out well. You guys are doing good. We're going to keep going. On to the KPA, right? There it is. The 11 metrics that we're looking at: structure, rapid problem solving, vocabulary, logical problem solving, responsiveness, assertiveness, intensity, optimism, sociability, adaptability, and spatial visualization. How many of those were yellow yield? Mark?
No, so there were 2 parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a TC, she was extremely low. As a showing agent, she was extremely high, which makes sense.
Were you hiring her as?
So initially we thought, okay, we need someone as an assistant. So let's focus more on the TC. But then because we like the candidate enough, we said, we'll have her do all the showings instead, because I do need both. Anyway.
All right, so there's a problem right there. I cannot hire Tom Brady to play quarterback and offensive tackle. It's not, he
No,
can't do.
so she wasn't doing that.
Yes. However, what I heard you say was, as a transaction coordinator, she scored very low, correct?
Extremely low.
Right? And if I looked at the organizational chart. See it? Brian, can you see that?
Yep.
Were you hired her as administrative assistant, as a transaction coordinator, or as a listing manager? Which one of these roles would you say was the position she was hired for?
None of those, which was my mistake.
Script. Okay.
Okay, so the next time you do this, I want you to focus on this person right here.
That's everything was towards an admin, but I wasn't being able to find an admin. And I was like, at least I need help on the showings.
Oh, you settled. I get it. Okay, so you didn't find the right person because you didn't talk to enough people. They're
Correct.
there. It's not easy. And trust me, let me learn from my mistakes. We started looking for that person, we being Monica and I, we started looking for this person in 2008. Okay? It was 2011 before we found them. It took us 3 years to find the right person. Now, in that 3-year process, we hired probably a dozen wrong people. What's the cost of a bad hire?
It's horrible.
You're better off with no one in that role than the wrong person in that role. Hear me?
Correct.
Okay. Kim, talk to us.
I was just gonna give a little bit of encouragement. I mean,
Probably use that right now.
I've been working for 30 years, and I think that hiring people is the most difficult. Hiring, training, and leading people is the most difficult part of any business. And you throw on top of our stereotypical personalities as the rainmaker of a real estate business, and trying to rein in and manage our personalities as an admin, you need a really special person, and it's going to take you a long time to find it, and that's okay. I hear a lot of frustration and impatience, and I just think this is a real skill that's going to take some time to develop, and just don't get frustrated with the process. You might go through 10 people and stay focused on what's making your business be a business, and you'll learn that.
Love this. Love this. Kim, thank you so much. Hey, Kim, when I was your coach, I'd forgotten about this. When I was your MAPS coach, what role were you in?
I was an MCA.
You're in an MCA. Want to move to South Florida?
I don't want to gay. But
I don't blame you. No. You're building a rock star real estate business. I was just joking. And I need an MCA.
Hey, John, real quick.
Yes.
Real quick for Brian. Brian, how many transactions a month are you doing right now, if I may ask?
Can I, Brian, before you answer that question, because I know what his answer is going to be. I'm going to add to the question. How many transactions are you doing, and how many opportunities are in your pipeline? How many transactions are you projecting for the first half of 2022? Because all of that goes into the answer that you're going to give Lance. All right, now go.
Perfect. So last year, I started in July, end of July, and I only did 2 transactions. I stopped calling people in November 29th. Okay, then this year, in end of December is when I hired this assistant. Then this year, I started making the calls again, like I used to. And I closed one a couple of days ago. I was supposed to close one today that's closing next week. I have another closing that I'm representing both sides next week. The following one, I'm closing a big one. And then Jason, I'm helping someone buy a home that needs to buy a home before March 10th.
All right, so
And
I'm
I
counting
got-
as you're talking, Brian, and I'm up to 7 in the first quarter.
I have like 3 active listings, one that is coming on Sunday, one that is probably gonna come up by Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Another one that is gonna come up any day now, which is huge.
Well, the reason that I was asking is because when John was coaching me, I had that same mindset that you had, that, oh my God, I need an admin right away, and I want my admin to do my transaction coordination and blah, 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 blah. To make a long story short, John told me to stop, take a step back. I do not need a full-time transaction coordinator as an employee. And I hired a transaction coordinator that only she's it's another company. So I sub it out to her. She's phenomenal. I pay her by the transaction and she handles everything. And all of a sudden, the stars and the moon align. So my advice is focus on one at a time and sub out the transaction coordinator, and when you find your admin, let your admin do your admin, and let your TC do your TC. And you only pay your TC as you need them. You're doing 7 transactions a week, fantastic.
Lance,
Your client pays for it.
Hold on, let's take a step back, right? So like, I don't, TC stuff, this TC stuff, it's not even a big deal, right? So like, I'm very organized. Like I've been using a TC. I never did anything myself until.
All right, so wait, whoa, I'm the coach in the room, so I get to interrupt. I have the trump card, and I'm gonna trump you, Brian. You got a myth going on, and I don't want you to have this limited thought process in your mind. It doesn't matter where you are or who you are, your valuable time, your 20% lead generation, meeting with buyers and sellers, taking seller listings, negotiating contracts, practicing and role playing your scripts. Nowhere in that 20% is there anything on contract to close.
100%.
No. Hang in there with me. So even though you're really detailed and you do the job probably better than the person you're going to hire to do the job, it's still not your job. You hire somebody to do that job for you because every hour you spend as a transaction coordinator, you're paying $150 an hour to a transaction coordinator, just you. And it's not a good use of your money. So stop it.
I agree 1,000%. That's the reason I wanted a staff person. And the TC to say stop it when the TC is sending emails that she's not supposed to be sending, it's hurting my business.
You got the wrong TC.
Yeah, you got the wrong TC.
Yeah, you got the wrong TC. And there's a lot of really good ones out there. Talk to Lee. I'm sure that you are going to do a better job next time of hiring a transaction coordinator. You'll get the right one next time. Hervé, talk to us.
Good morning, John. How you doing today?
Every day is a good day.
Hey, John, listen, I'm a new agent and I'm making those calls. And 6 months down the line, I'm starting to have callbacks and I'm starting to close my first transaction. And 30 days goes by very fast. And now I'm starting to stack up listing and I have 4 or 5 listings coming up. What am I doing as an agent after getting those listings? Do I go under?
Wait, Hervé, how long have you been doing this?
3 months.
3 months. So the answer is now what? Is that the answer?
Yeah. Now what? Do I
Now
go
what?
just put on the MLS and go hide under a rock? And what's my job?
It's the same thing you've been doing the last 3 months. By the way, 5 years from now, it'll be the same thing. 10 years from now, it's the same thing. For me, it's the same thing. Your number one job every day is lead generation. It's lead generating until you've hit your lead generation standards. Until that is complete, everything else is a distraction. Now, as you're building a bigger book of business, you're going to start looking for new and better ways to attract buyers and sellers. You're also going to start looking to add leverage to your business. Even if you are part of a team and you have a team that supports you, and by the way, I know you are, that's why I'm saying this, and you have an amazing team that supports you, you still have opportunity to add leverage to your business. Excuse me. If you're working with buyers, excuse me, if you get to a point where you have too many buyers, your next step is to hire a showing assistant so that you do the buyer consultation, you find out what they're looking for, what it's going to take to meet their goals and exceed their expectations. You get them to agree to hire you as their buyer, and then your showing assistant takes over and sends them properties to look at and takes them out and shows them the homes. It's not the right word. They take them out to look at homes until they've identified their top 2 or 3. And now you step back in and take them to see those 2 or 3 homes and help them identify the one, make an offer, and negotiate.
Thank you.
Proud of you. All right. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Hervé. I'm very proud of you. Did you guys get value today?
Yes.
Yes. Love that. Do you like this format? Just get together and mastermind. Should we do this again? Right?
Definitely.
Right? It was good for Brian. Brian was good for everybody. I'm just giving you a hard time. All right, guys, I have 10:55 and I have, or 9:55. 9:52. I see.
The C's not even in my.
Yeah, I get it. I know. I'm in trouble. I have a 10 a.m. Zoom. So that's going to be it for today. Guys, amazing week. I'm proud of every single one of you. Success is a choice. You choose the level of success that you achieve. You choose by hitting your daily standards every single day. Nobody can stop you from hitting those standards other than you. And if success is a choice, then so is failure. Don't choose failure. The key to success is to persist without exception. Now, everyone persists. They'll say, well, I'm persistent. What are you talking about? Here's the difference. Persist without exception. You see, all of those people who say they're persistent until they're not. The key to success is not persistence. The key to success is to persist without exception. If failure is truly not an option, if no is truly not a word that lives in your vocabulary, if no simply means not yet, if you choose to reject rejection, if you understand that people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information, you will continue to follow up forever. It's on the shirt. Follow up forever until they make a new decision based on new information. Go find somebody that wants to list their home today. If you had to, you would. If you had to find a listing appointment today, like I had to find Colin when he was 5 years old and lost in Disney World, page 7 of The Rainmaker. Thank you. If you had to find a listing opportunity today, like I had to find my lost son at Disney World, and you worked with the same focus and urgency, every single one of you would find somebody that wants to list their home today. It's a choice. All right, make it a great day. Have a great weekend. Remember to unplug, never truly off, never truly on. Have some Keller Who time. Go play golf, go for a walk. Go for a walk on the beach. Sorry, Kim, no beaches in North Carolina that you're going to be walking on right now. Want to move to South Florida. And make it a great day.
Thank you, John.
Oh boy, that's recorded. Her OP is going to be giving me a call and yelling at me.